welcome back to Main Street Living. With the Tokyo Olympics going on, we are getting daily reminders of the incredible feats athletes can achieve with enough practice and determination. It's pretty cool to see.
That's right, Cheryl. However, not all athletes who deserve recognition, they're in the Olympics. So Ronnie Rantz is here from Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He's here to tell us a little bit more about the athletes that they are celebrating. Welcome to Main Street Living. Ronnie, how are you doing?
Thank you, Quincy. Glad to be here, man.
Hey, well, we're happy to have you. Now, where is the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and how long have you guys been celebrating local athletes?
Well, we've been celebrating local athletes since the late 50s, and the Hall of Fame is located in Natchitoches, Louisiana, which is kind of in the northern part of the state of Louisiana, between Shreveport and Alexandria. A little known fact about Natchitoches: it's the oldest settlement in the Louisiana Purchase, and it's where the movie Steel Magnolias was filmed. So it's got a lot of history and a pretty cool bed and breakfast mecca, if you will. I think there's one every 5 feet in Natchitoches. But the museum itself opened in 2013, a brand new $20 million building, but it started in the early 70s at Northwestern State University in Natchitoches.
Well, with that many beds and breakfasts, I have to imagine you get a lot of visitors. So for visitors, what would they find at the Hall of Fame?
Well, we're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 until 4:30 p.m. And what you're going to see, it's also the Northwest History Museum is located on the second floor. So you get a little sports and you get a little Louisiana history all rolled into one. But you're going to basically go back to the turn of the century being the 1900s to 20th century. You get over 130 years of Louisiana sports history. And in every sport, we have over 25 different sports recognized. We have over 400 people in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, everyone from broadcasters and television and radio personalities, all the way to folks like Shaquille O'Neal and football players such as Peyton Manning are in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
That is interesting. I completely forgot Shaquille played for LSU, and you're talking about all these years and everything. So you were recently able to induct the class of 2020, and will soon induct the class of 2021. This coming up, in August. So how are the inductees chosen? And Ronnie, what is the ceremony like?
Well, the Hall of Fame started in the late 50s. It was founded by the Louisiana Sports Writers members. And you think back to the 50s, how many little small town newspapers there were. And everybody had 2 or 3 sports writers because that's what sold papers. And so there were hundreds of sports writers in the 50s. They started the foundation, and they are the folks that vote on the Hall of Famers each and every year. And they get together in late August, and they select the Hall of Famers for the next year, which traditionally the Hall of Fame ceremony, the week-long pageantry, takes place the last weekend in June. So they're going to do that again this August. You have to have played at least 2 years of high school ball in Louisiana, or 2 years of college ball, or 5 years professionally in order to be considered for the Hall of Fame. So that's how a guy like Peyton Manning, who went all 4 years of high school in Louisiana, Shaquille O'Neal, who spent 3 years at LSU, and someone like a Drew Brees, who spent more than 5 years with the Saints, he'll obviously be one day.
Of course.
Well, sounds like you have obviously a pretty cool job. What are some of your favorite athletes, or who are some of your favorite athletes honored in the Hall of Fame?
Well, Ed Reed, who, of course, was a great player for the Baltimore Ravens, who's from Louisiana, he got inducted back in 2017, and both he and I have a love of music, so I can remember hanging out with him that week, us checking out some live music in Natchitoches. He was a great personality. David Toms, who's the greatest golfer from the state of Louisiana, won a PGA championship over 20 years ago. He was, and that's a sport I love. And so, just every year you meet some wonderful people. But my favorite all-time person, he's still alive. He's 94 years old. He comes back every year. His name is T. Barry Porter. He first won a calf roping world championship in Madison Square Garden in 1949. Wow. And when you bought a pair of Wrangler jeans back in the 50s, his picture was in the pocket. That's how famous he was in the rodeo world for over 20 years. And he's just an unbelievable person, still kicking at 94 years old.
I'm laughing over here, Danielle and Ronnie, because my parents would get me a pair of Wranglers, and these were the stiffest pair of jeans I would ever have to try on. Like, can you bend your knees? I can't. These jeans are too tough. So now I know they have some history behind them. I didn't know.
I think Wrangler jeans can last 94 years. They're made tough.
Absolutely. Now, where can the viewers find more about the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, you go to lasportshall.com and, or follow us on Twitter as well. But go to lasportshall.com because we have events throughout the year all over the state of Louisiana. We're excited to have a double induction this year. We have the 2020 class in June. We'll have the 2021 class, which folks like Glenn Dorsey and Marcus Colston of the Saints, they'll be in the 2021 class. But folks can go on our website and come check us out any time of the year.
Ronnie Rantz, everybody. Thanks so much for making the time for us today, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, Quincy, man, I love what they're doing out there. Everybody needs a little bit of recognition sometimes, right? And sometimes we need a little bit of help. And so you have to remember that you actually have a friend in California. That's next.